Here's the real title: Plenty, period. Enough, exclamation point. Why is it written that way? Why is it punctuated that way? Because there is plenty in the universe. We live in an abundant realm of creative power, period. Enough with the theorizing and talking about it and reading about it and thinking about it and praying about it and wondering about it and discussing it and contemplating it. Enough of that. Let's start living it right now. And this is the perfect time to put our focus not on application, but on experience, because it's the season of gratitude, isn't it? And as we are recognizing over these next few days everything that we're grateful for, let's be grateful for it in the present moment, living it right here and right now. So I want to begin by asking you to close your eyes for just a minute. And imagine yourself at the level of health you dream of, and enjoying the expression of love you dream of, and luxuriating in the kind of wealth you dream of. Now open your eyes, but hold on to that feeling, because this is the vibration we want to get in touch with within ourselves. My sister has a decorative plate on her mantle that's inscribed, health, love, wealth, and time to enjoy them. Well, that time is now, this very moment, without putting it off any further. Okay? So when you close your eyes and you put yourself in the position of already having the stuff you dream of, it takes you to a new level, doesn't it? Okay? So what we need to do is understand that in order to get up here to the thing we dream about, to the level of health, love, and wealth we desire, we need to eclipse our current level of awareness and receptivity to bring that into sync with everything. And that's going to require a higher degree of responsibility, commitment, and involvement on our part. I'll just tell you straight out, of course you probably already know, it requires more of our deliberate attention. How many of you have or have ever had a cat? Jim's laughing. How many of you have or have ever had horses? Okay. There is a different level of commitment entailed in caring for a cat and in caring for a horse. Would you agree? They're both wonderful. They're two very different animals. I have owned many horses in my time, but only 2 cats. And I can never remember an occasion on which one of my horses slept on top of me, much less curled up on my head. But cats do that, don't they? So it's different level of commitment, a different level of involvement on our part. And the more health, love, and wealth we want to manifest, the more of our attention and focus we need to bring to that moment and to that reality. Now, you might be thinking, well, my life is already wonderful the way it is. Why do I need more? Why do I need to change anything? And maybe your life is wonderful just the way it is. I'm not here to say it isn't. But here's the thing, see, it is our nature to change and grow and transcend and transform in every moment, because we are not finite beings. We're infinite. So we can't stop here, even if it's seemingly perfect to us. See, the power that created us is infinite, and it created us to express itself through us. So it needs us to wake up to the grandness of our lives and to continue to step up and step up and step up to stay in alignment with that beautiful, perfect progression that's inherent with each one of us. Ernest Holmes said this, "The will of that which is infinite can never be finite. Everything, then, should tend toward expansion and multiplication. That is the will of God." So if you've been wondering your whole life what the will of God is, that's it, according to Dr. Holmes. But we can't confuse the will of God and our access to it with our individual willpower, because those aren't the same thing. But our willpower will crop up as the voice of resistance. How many of you, every time you want to change and grow, you're met with resistance, either from other people or yourself or both? Okay, what do we do with that? Sometimes we hear it as that little voice inside, don't we? How many of you have heard the little voice inside? Okay, outside this room, don't spread that around. I once listened to the small voice within, and it said, if you can hear this, you seriously need some antipsychotic medication. Okay, so along the way, we probably will be met with some resistance. How do we keep from getting pulled into that effect? Because it's not the truth. And this happens not because we are lazy or undeserving or not ready. It happens because of our conditioning, and where we are is comfortable. And so anytime we step out, it gets a little uncomfortable. This is the natural way of things. So the voice we want to listen to within is the voice of divine wisdom, not the little voice. Okay? Because that little voice is not the voice of God. It's not the voice of truth. It's our old pattern, our old paradigm, our old standard, our old idea, the old way of being. And it's old. So even if all is well, and all is well, yes, raise your hand if all is well, even if there's a little thing here or there, even if all is well, who here this morning would not welcome more health, more love, or more wealth? We all want more, okay? In fact, I'm going to say it this way. If no one or nothing is currently threatening the status quo for you, then you need to threaten it for yourself. Okay? You need to threaten the status quo for yourself by inviting yourself to live a bigger life, to circulate in a larger arena, and to realize more of the good that is already created in mind for you. It's already there. And in order to do that, we all have to increase our amplitude. What is amplitude? Who knows what amplitude means? It's kind of like magnitude in that it describes size and range and extent, okay? In physics, it's the maximum extent of a vibration measured from the position of equilibrium. Now, let's say that position of equilibrium is our life the way it is right now. Now, it may not be ideal, but it's familiar, maybe even predictable. We know what to expect, and that can be a good thing, yes? So here's our equilibrium, which is kind of status quo by definition. Now, we decide to move into a higher experience or a higher expression of life, thereby upsetting that balance. So this is the point at which we want to evaluate the amplitude of our thought energy with respect to our vision or our dream or our desire, the thing we say we want to demonstrate. What do I mean? If we have a goal or a plan or a dream for our life, our thought energy's amplitude needs to match that. Those of you who are in the Prosperity Plus class, this is what we're talking about every week, and we're hearing it in the DVDs and reading it in the homework assignments. So today we're going to look at those three major areas of life: health, love, and wealth, and we're going to address each one systematically in terms of what it takes to bring our amplitude into line with what we say we want. Okay? Let's start with health. I always like to start with health. We're taught that divine health is our birthright, aren't we? And how many of you believe that? Okay. Now, there is a difference between understanding perfect health as an attribute of God with which we are all endowed and actually experiencing perfect health in our bodies, in our physical selves. One is an idea, the other is an experience of the idea. Again, Dr. Holmes, if the body is to be permanently well, The soul must be in poise. When the soul is poised in true spiritual realization, the body will be normal and healthy. Now, what does it mean for us, for our soul to be poised in spiritual realization? That has to begin with an image in our mind. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes again. We'll do this 4 times total today. Close your eyes and imagine what it would be like to experience perfect health. I want you to vividly picture yourself doing what you would do in a state of perfect health. What would you do? Would you walk around the block or run a marathon? Would you bring your own groceries into the house? Or bend over and pick up your children or grandchildren? Would you go hiking? Would you jump out of an airplane? What would you do? Now open your eyes, but again, hold on to that picture. I focus a lot on health because I focus a lot on health, and I'm a very healthy person, and I'm always knowing that my health is eclipsing itself, it's improving. And a lot of you know that one of the things I want to do is a full triathlon. I've dabbled a little bit in sprint distance triathlons, and I have a challenge around the running. And for a while, my affirmation was, I run injury-free. What's wrong with that? It focuses on injury, doesn't it? So I had to shift my verbiage on that into a positive affirmation.